All right, so we got another huge ritual here with the Migos. Rapper Takeoff dead at 28. Huge blood sacrifice. A lot of people involved, but of course the name that he goes by, Takeoff, equals 28, and he dies at 28. And look at this. So Takeoff, 28. You got Offset, 28. And Cardi B, 28. So Takeoff equals 28, dies at 28. Offset equals 28, and Cardi B equals 28. Perfect people for the perfect ritual to have these names that obviously they give them these names so it could match perfectly with their rituals that they continuously do on a day-to-day basis. So if you notice, Cardi B equals 44 and Takeoff equals 64 and Kill equals 44 and 64 and 28. So Takeoff dies at 28 equals 28, Offset equals 28, Cardi B equals 28, and then the 44 64 for Kill, which is 44, 64, and 28. I mean, it's so perfectly matched that it's undeniable that if people can't, people need to learn this because we're exposing what they're doing with this code, killing off these rappers or, anybody in the media or entertainment. It's so obvious that they're doing these rituals every day, and people need to wake up to this knowledge because this will actually teach you and show you what's really going on and wake you up, and that's the main cause of what we're all here for anyways. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, gematria is a simple code. It's a code that the Jesuits are using to murder off these entertainers or what have you. But there's 4 ciphers. It's really simple. You got the English language, and it's the practice of coding numbers into words or letters into numbers. But you got the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, all the way to Z, 26. And then you have the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, which in numerology, you're going to reduce double digits, to single digits. And then the reverse alphabetic order, which Z would be 1, all the way to A to be 26. And then the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, which Z is still 1 and A is 26. But you add the rules of numerology and you reduce double digits to single digits. So just in case you're skeptical, and you want to learn this, you'll eventually see, how they perform these rituals so perfectly. They sync everything up through this code. And this is what we're exposing.
Well, I've been listening to you for a few years since you were on Tinfoil Hat the first time. And I've been tuning in here and there, trying to absorb as much information as I can. And it seems like with all these things going on and things becoming so obvious with how all the numbers are put together, my question is, does this sort of, being able to break down things by the numbers come down to something as small as somebody like me and the things I do? Like, would you say that, I could look at certain things in my life and find how numbers correlate to things? Or is this just a ritualistic type thing of the...
No. There's an organic side to the code. Because again, for people who are new here, this whole code comes from Kabbalah. And there's 2 halves to Kabbalah. There's a good half that's... The purpose of the good half is about understanding the way reality works and our relationship with this earth and Creator. And the belief is that God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. That's what's expressed on the first page of the Book of Formation, which is kind of the most important Kabbalistic text. So that this knowledge comes from Kabbalah. But then there's another half called the clip-off, which is about sorcery and spell casting and having influence and control over others. That's the half that we're exposing. But when I first started this, I saw what was going on, but it all seemed a little bit silly to me. Well, I've had 10 years to observe this knowledge, and so have other people who've learned about it, and we've realized that the numbers can manifest in our own lives. And again, I'm finishing my third book right now, and all of my books, if for anyone who's never read my books, my first book, Letters and Numbers, my last book, Number Games, both concluding chapters are about the organic side of the code. And the reason I talk about that is because I think that's where this originally came from. Somebody realized that somehow the world is operating within this kind of a numerical matrix, and it's like people are the dark half is about, like, using that energy in a negative way. So it's taking what's there and then using it essentially for like a greedy or an evil type of purpose. Like, again, to have influence and control over others. Murdering somebody by a code for your own benefit, to sell more records, for example. So does that make sense, what I explained?
Yeah, I get it. I definitely understand. So then my question after that is, does that move away from the idea of free will? And then is the goal of having all this knowledge to be able to use it on your side to be able to make choices that are inherently good for you?
Well, I don't think it necessarily eliminates the idea of free will, but at the same time, in a way, because again, it starts to get more towards the idea of like destiny, and you're living out kind of some people call it like you're living out the simulation.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure it all out, but I still think there absolutely is free will. I think with an understanding of the knowledge you might see in your life, you might see the numbers manifest in a way. If you understand the meaning, like, okay, I made the right choice right there. Oh, maybe that was the wrong choice and I need to reevaluate. So I think in a way it can be kind of more like a guiding thing, being aware of it,
right,
not so much eliminating the possibility of free will. That's what I've been documenting and observing.
Back to Takeoff, but if you notice, Takeoff equals 35, and he died today with date numerology of 54, like Jesuit order equals 54. And there's 305 days left in the year, and in numerology you're going to drop that 0, so that's 35, which Takeoff equals 35. And then there's 60 days left in the year, which they associate a lot of these rituals with the N-word and the N-word. Oops. Equals 60, right? But also, if you go from Migos' birthday, 4/2, which, again, the N-word, equals 42. But if you go from Migos' birthday, Quavo's birthday to today, which Takeoff died, it's 6 months and 4 weeks. And there's that 64 again, like kill. Also, if you go from Cardi B's birthday to today, it's 3 weeks, which 3, and if there's a 0 there is, if there's a 0 there's not, but that's like 30, which again the N-word equals 30. So like I said, they use this word when they do a lot of these rituals, when they murder these rappers, or they always have to stamp that word on there as well, just to let you know. And also, look how perfectly synced, Cardi B's birthday is 10/11, and then he dies on 11/1. So 11 and 11, and then 10, drop that 0, it's 1. So it's basically 11/1, 11/1. It's amazing how they sync this so perfectly with everybody that's involved, and we're still trying to figure out how they do all this, but it is amazing, but it is sinister at the same time, and we have to keep exposing this, because we got to put an end to this madness, these psychopaths that continuously just murder people, all the time and get away with it through this code. And also his real name, Kershnik Kari Ball, equals 83. And, we know murder. Murder equals 83. And Kershnik Kari Ball also equals 115. And killing equals 115. Killing equals 38. Murder equals 38. RIP equals 38. And rapper equals 38. And we know the Murder by Numbers poster with Sandra Bullock, where they changed the E to a 3 and the B to an 8. And this is definitely a murder by number ritual. And they put it right in your face with all these 38s. Most of the time with these rappers, that 38 and 83 is huge in these satanic rituals or these blood sacrifices. And notice Takeoff's Instagram. He has 83 posts, which was that was his last post. The 83rd, we just talked about the murder by rituals, 83, and all the 83s and 38s. What a joke. And then you have last night, Offset was not there when Takeoff and Quavo were there at that bowling alley. He was at a Halloween party. He was dressed like the Joker and smoking a blunt. And this was one of his posts on his Instagram. But kind of like, he's getting ready to sacrifice, his other group member. And if you type in Joker, it equals 23. And 83 is the 23rd prime, and we just talked about all the 83s right now. So these sick fuckers have all this perfectly lined up, and they're all in on it. And also, Halloween party equals 67. Just like he was getting ready to getting ready for the blood sacrifice, and blood sacrifice equals 67. Yes, it says officers with the Houston Police Department and emergency officials with the Houston Fire Department responded to reports of a shooting at 810 Billiards and Bowling, located at 1201 San Jacinto, right? And like I said, blood sacrifice equals 121. And where was he sacrificed? At that location. You drop that 0 in numerology, you get 121. They always have to have the perfect spot to do their ritual. And San Jacinto equals 34. Like murder equals 34. So again, perfect location to get murdered on the perfect street. Also, if you go from Takeoff's birthday to Offset's birthday, it's 25 weeks. And death equals 25. And then if you go from Quavo's birthday, 4/2, to Takeoff's birthday, it's 2 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days. And we know that is the reflection of 322, or Skull and Bones. So, and last but not least, this happened at a bowling alley, and bowling alley equals 56 and 187. And the homicide code is 187. But Society of Jesus is 56 and 187. So, it couldn't be any clearer. Obviously, huge blood sacrifice ritual. Got all these Migos and other personnel that's involved in, they all partake in this sick shit. And who runs it all? The Society of Jesus. So remember, guys, truth is simple. It's the lies that get complicated.